Well, the vice president beginning his second day in our state with a roundtable discussion in Scottsdale. Coming up, we'll tell you where else he's headed and the deal he's here to promote.
He's accused of sharing sports secrets with his opponents. Now this Valley coach is officially out of a job.
And a major study on vaping being done right here in the Valley. Now those doctors are giving more insight into what's causing all of these serious lung injuries. We want to say good morning to you on this Thursday morning, almost Friday. I'm Mark Thompson in for Kaylee O'Kelly this morning.
Yeah, we like to call it Friday Eve around here. I think it just kind of gives you that extra motivation. I'm Nick Saletti. Let's send things over to meteorologist Iris Hermosillo with a look at that most accurate forecast. Iris, walking the dog this morning, I loved it. It felt good. It was like a crisp feeling out there.
It is another nice morning, Nick, that's for sure. No 50s, though, this morning, so it is not as cool as it's been the last few mornings, but still pleasant as you get out for maybe your morning routine, your morning walk around the neighborhood. We're talking 60s across the valley. Phoenix, Sky Harbor down to 69. Chandler, good morning. You're running a little cooler, down to 62 degrees. Upper 60s in Mesa and in Goodyear. And we've got clear skies across the valley. And today you'll see plenty of that sunshine as we are staying clear and dry. But it's going to be a quicker warm up today as our high temperatures will end up in the mid 90s as opposed to the low 90s we've enjoyed the last few days. So that puts us at 81 by 10 a.m. Then know that we're already starting to feel a little uncomfortable today by lunchtime, near 90, then low 90s through the early afternoon, and today's high up to 95 degrees, closer to the normal high for this time of year, but either way warmer than it's been the last few days. And we're going to keep these mid 90s around through the weekend. So you'll notice each day topping out in the mid 90s with mornings running a little milder too, only down into the low 70s. A few periods of high clouds tomorrow, more clouds on Sunday. We'll talk about whether we're going to see any rain in the valley and the storm chances setting up in other parts of our state today. But I want to say good morning to Chelsea, who's been busy watching our roads here this morning.
That's true, Iris. It has been a busy one for us. We're going to start with I-17. Now, we're used to seeing delays in the southbound direction, but right now we're looking at breaks northbound. That's because once you get closer to Bell Road, the two right lanes are blocked. There was a truck pulling two different trailers. The back trailer toppled over. So we have a rollover we're dealing with now. You're going to want to use 19th Avenue, 35th Avenue to get by the frontage road and then re-enter closer to Union Hills to avoid the slowdown. I-17, I-10 approaching the stack. Normal breaks right now. East Valley, a little slow on US 60 and even parts of the Loop 202 Santan, but no major crashes. We do have a closure because of a police investigation, which we'll tell you about here in just a few minutes. But Broadway Road near Priest Drive, you're going to see that the westbound direction has one lane blocked. You can use University to get by. I-10 getting closer to Queen Creek and also the 202 Santan approaching I-10. Just some breaks there, Nick.
Chelsea, thank you. 6:02 right now. A live look from Tempe where police are investigating a deadly shooting. This is near Priest and Broadway, and the crime scene still very active. We know they've been out there for at least 6 hours. Officers found two victims. Both were taken to the hospital where one man died from his injuries. We're still working to get some more information on a suspect or a possible motive. Vice President Mike Pence waking up in the Valley this morning. You see him here getting off Air Force Two with Senator Martha McSally Wednesday.
That's right. And today he's talking with Hispanic business leaders. Let's get out to John Genovese for more on the VP's visit. John?
Yeah, and guys, a big day in store. It all begins at 8:45 this morning here at the First Baptist Church of Scottsdale. This is where the VP will meet with Southwest Hispanic business leaders before flying down to Tucson. Now, as you guys just saw, we were there as Pence landed at Sky Harbor Airport last night. He traveled alongside Senator Martha McSally and was greeted at the airport by Governor Doug Ducey and State Republican Chair Kelly Ward. He also shook hands with the crowd before heading to a fundraiser for McSally that was closed off to the press. But here's his schedule today. Again, that roundtable begins here in Scottsdale at 8:45, but it will be quick. He'll then arrive in Tucson around 11 o'clock this morning on Air Force Two and later speak to employees at a Caterpillar heavy equipment facility in Green Valley to promote the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. Now, Mark, we have already seen preparations underway here at this church. We saw crews setting up barricades and fencing a little bit earlier on, obviously to manage crowds and traffic. And we just saw the the Secret Service arrive here as well, maybe about a half hour ago or so. Again, that event starting at 8:45 this morning. We will be inside and pass along whatever happens coming up at 11 o'clock and later on in the day. But for now, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, John, lots of logistics to get through for the VP's visit. All right, thanks so much. Now to Capitol Hill, where this morning the man who resigned as U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine is expected to appear for closed-door depositions with 3 House committees. Kurt Volker, he was named as in the whistleblower complaint as one of the Americans who talked to President Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, about his meeting with Ukrainian officials. Volker is also the head of the McCain Institute. Tomorrow, House Democrats plan to subpoena the White House for a number of documents related to the president's phone call with Ukraine's president. And with 1 in 59 children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, funding is crucial for research and support programs. And the president just signing the Autism Cares Act, which provides $1.8 billion in funding for the next 5 years to help people with the disorder and their families. The sponsor of the bill says that the problem of aging out services is a real hurdle for parents and caretakers.
As the CDC prepares to update the country today on the latest vaping-related illnesses, the Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale is releasing an update on a possible cause. Doctors biopsied 17 lungs of patients believed to have the vaping-related illness. All 17 showing their lung injuries were most likely caused by what they call direct toxicity or tissue damage from harmful chemical fumes.
The findings themselves are reminiscent of what you see in chemical injuries. So patients that think of like a worker who works in a plant and there was this large, something just exploded and they had this inhalational fume chemical injury.
And as more deaths are reported, there is new insight from the doctors who first sounded the alarm about vaping. Hear what they have to say on Good Morning America coming up at 7.
Well, it can be an unfortunate hazard of the job. Firefighters falling ill to cancer. Now, fire departments across the valley, they're making some changes to protect their own. In Tempe, they not only use wipes to clean off their skin after fighting fires, they also scrub down everything that they're wearing. And the area where they store their gear is closed off with walls, a door, and a ventilation system so they aren't breathing in the leftover chemicals.
That mindset has shifted in that we want clean gear. We want squeaky clean gear so that we can not expose ourselves, our other crew members, and our families to these contaminants that are found in almost everything that burns.
The fire trucks also now have ventilation systems in them that hook up to the exhaust so they aren't breathing in those dangerous fumes. Gone, the Valley football coach accused of sharing his own team's plays with the competition was just fired last night.
The Tempe Union High School District voted unanimously to terminate Justin Hager after they say they found evidence he sent Mountain Point plays to opposing teams for years, hiding behind a fake email account.
What I couldn't believe was in detail how he's describing players and how he's saying, hey, go at this kid, he's hurt already. Go at this kid, he's a good player, but he's not in shape. Go at this kid, he likes to spin. When you start doing that and you start naming kids, that tells me you're targeting kids.
So how did they figure this out? Mountain Point's head coach went digging after hearing coaches all got information from the same email account and found Hager's district email as the backup account to it. The district says Hager eventually admitted that he was running that email account. He now has 10 days to appeal the board's decision. This morning, we are remembering a man who left his mark on our state, and that is Bill Bidwill.
The owner of the Arizona Cardinals passed away at the age of 88 yesterday, and Larry Fitzgerald says that Bidwill will be remembered for what he did off the field.
The thing I really cherished most about him was his selflessness and his commitment to the community. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I would go around the city and people would be like, Mr. Bill Bidwill was here 2 weeks ago, and he made a really nice donation to our foundation. Nobody ever really helps us, but he's been very helpful over the last few. I'm like, wow, like this is a reoccurring theme of a lot of different places I'm going to, and his name is always coming up.
Such a big heart. Larry Fitzgerald, I think, put it so nicely. ABC15 sports director Craig Fouie creating a touching tribute to Bill Bidwill. You can find that right now on ABC15.com.
Well, if you're heading out for your commute here shortly, if you're going along the I-10, temperatures comfortable in the 60s. We'll warm into the 70s by 8 o'clock, mid-70s by 9. And today, warmer afternoon. I'll take you through that most accurate 7-day forecast.
And I think we want to move forward with a spirit of forgiveness faith and trust.
Coming up next on ABC 15 Mornings, a heartfelt gesture in the courtroom as a man forgives his brother's killer.
Could the phrases you're using at work be insulting to others? One expert says it's very common, but it's something we all should pay attention to. The words you should try to stay away from in a few minutes.
I love you just like anyone else. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please?
Yes. In today's top headlines, forgiveness filling a Dallas courtroom after a former police officer, Amber Geiger, is sentenced to 10 years for killing her neighbor, Botham Jean, the victim's brother, giving Geiger a hug afterwards.
Yeah, such a moment there inside the courtroom. Meantime, today, MGM Resorts will announce how much it'll pay out to victims of the Las Vegas shooting. The settlement is expected to be in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Several families filed claims against MGM since the shooting happened there. The gunman, of course, firing out of his Mandalay Bay hotel room, killing 58 people 2 years ago.
And we're staying on top of breaking news in Paris. A knife attack at the police headquarters has killed 4 officers. The assailant, who was an employee of the police headquarters, was shot and killed at the scene.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
We're going to start here with this traffic alert. Our ADOT camera temporarily frozen here, gives us a good view. This is a truck that has a dual trailer. The back trailer is on its side. We have the wheel popping out there. The 2 right lanes are blocked. The cones are in place. You're going to see a lot of flashing lights, and you're going to see a lot of red on our Accident Law Group traffic maps. When I zoom in here, you're going to look at delays well beyond Thunderbird at this point. So if I were you, since you're going to travel less than 10 miles per hour approaching the scene, I would exit sooner. Use that frontage road, or this is 19th Avenue. You also have 35th Avenue just next door to get by instead. The frontage road can be an option, but since a lot of people are exiting, that can get congested. In the opposite direction of I-17 traveling southbound, we have 1 lane blocked. This is right near Indian School before you get to the stack. We're still looking at about 40 miles per hour as your desert drive time there, so not too slow yet. I-10, same story from the west side. East Valley, we're looking at mostly green conditions. We've seen a major improvement for I-10 as you're traveling closer to State Route 347 in through Maricopa, but when we go surface street level, we still have this temporary closure. This is on Broadway, one of the westbound lanes closed for you there. You can use University Drive once you're getting closer to Priest. That's because of that shooting investigation. Right now, though, we want to check in with meteorologist Iris Hermosillo because it still feels great this morning.
Oh, it really does, Chelsea. Temperatures are down into the 60s across the valley. Plus, we've got clear skies as far as the eye can see. There is a reason we're known as the Valley of the Sun, right? You'll see plenty of it today. Temperatures this morning down into the 60s. I'm not seeing any 50s right now, though, so it's not as cool as it's been the last few mornings, but it's still going to be pleasant if you want to get outside for maybe a morning hike or just a walk around the neighborhood. Our temperature at Sky Harbor down to 69 degrees. We're down to 66 in Tempe, though, and cooler in the Southeast Valley. Chandler, good morning. You're down to 62. Good morning to you in Gilbert. You're waking up to 62 as well, and 61 currently in Queen Creek. Ahwatukee at 69 degrees as well. 68 in Laveen, 67 in Peoria. Surprise, you've dropped another degree, and now you're down to 60 there. Now, today we're going to start off with these comfortable temperatures, but we will be warming faster. So the last few days, we've enjoyed temperatures in the mid-80s around lunchtime. Today, we're inching closer to 90 degrees by lunchtime, and that means we're going to spend most of the afternoon today in the 90s, as opposed to the last few days that we've spent most of the afternoon in the 80s and just briefly hit the 90s. Today, I think it's more 90s this afternoon with that high of 95 degrees in Phoenix and clear skies in the forecast. But 95 puts us close to the normal high for this time of year. So we're not below normal anymore, but we'll be closer to normal, at least for today and the next few days. 94 will be our high in Deer Valley. 95 in Peoria. We'll reach 95 in Gilbert. Chandler, you'll be a little warmer, up to 96, and 96 also for high in Mesa and in Ahwatukee. Once you pick up the kids from school today, temperatures in the mid-90s. That's when our temperatures tend to start to peak around 3 to 4 o'clock. Well, the sun will set at 6:10. Our temperatures will be dropping into the low 90s by 5 p.m. But of course, as that sun gets closer to sunset, you'll start to feel some of that relief from the heat, and then cooling off into the upper 80s by 7 o'clock. So this afternoon, if you don't have plans or after school activities, the park may be a good place to go. Just make sure that you're hydrating, of course, and sunblock will be a great idea too, as our burn time is fairly short at just about 30 minutes around midday. Temperatures today across the state look look at how much colder it is up north. Only 29 degrees in Flagstaff. So kids in the high country bundled up in their winter coats, I think, this morning. But by this afternoon, gorgeous with 70s and 80s across northern Arizona, mid-90s here in the valley and out west. Now, this weekend will stay in the mid-90s each afternoon with morning temperatures in the low 70s each day. So it is going to be a warmer weekend. Keep that in mind as you make those weekend plans. And by Monday, we're up to 99 degrees. I'll break down your weekend forecast further for you in just a little bit.
Iris, thank you. Rideshare company Uber gets you places, brings you food. Now it gets you a job. The company is set to release a new app that will help you in your job search. Uber Works reportedly debuts tomorrow in Chicago. It'll match shift workers with businesses looking to fill temporary slots. The app tracks pay information as well as the number of hours you worked. New this morning, something to keep in mind before you walk into the office. Are you using appropriate terminology in the workplace?
Yeah, a lot of us don't even think about this, but experts say that the words that we use could have a big impact on our coworkers. Claudia Rupsich joins us from the newsroom this morning with the do's and don'ts. Hey, Claudia.
Hey, Nick and Mark, we all want to work in a positive and inclusive place, but experts say sometimes we can all make seemingly innocent comments that could end up being insulting. Experts say watching what you say isn't about just being politically correct. It's about caring about your coworkers.
Everyone has a different experience in life. You don't know what their history is. You don't know what kinds of challenges that they've faced in their life, how other people have treated them. And so the things you say can be triggering based on those experiences.
Some things are obviously offensive, like using racial or religious slurs or the R word. But Jennifer Ward with the Employers Council says there are popular words and phrases considered to be microaggressions. Here are some examples. Referring to a group of women as girls or ladies can be insulting or diminish their place in the workplace. Or calling something or a situation crazy.
So if somebody has mental health struggles, if you're calling challenging situations or situations that don't make sense, if you're calling them crazy, that can be insulting to people who have negative health challenges.
Ward says, as a rule, you should stay away from comments referring to age, sexual orientation, or gender. If a person indicates a comment or phrase is unwelcomed and you continue to use it, that coworker could make a hostile work environment claim.
And when you cross over that line and it becomes illegal, that's when you run the risk of having a discrimination lawsuit or a harassment lawsuit.
It depends on the situation. The point is, be mindful that words can have an impact, even if you don't think they do. At the end of the day, Ward says it's about including everyone. And I thought this was really interesting. She said using things like sports phrases like you knocked the ball out of the park, or that's a can of corn, or you hit a home run, something like that. That could exclude non-sports fans in the workplace. So, of course, it really depends on who you're talking to. It's a case-by-case scenario, but it's just something to keep in mind next time you're talking to a group of people.
Yeah, Claudia, definitely, I think, some food for thought.
Yeah,
all of us.
I've got to watch out for those sports phrases. I tend to throw those out there.
I know.
Sometimes I'm just a big sports fan, so it just, happens sometimes. But thanks for the information. Good to know.
Claudia, thank you. From foster families to higher education, sometimes the road in between isn't an easy path, but now ASU is offering up the steps to help everybody achieve their goals.
Welcome to the Screamery. Get ready for the Farmhouse Challenge.
And forget cereal for breakfast, but you can still grab your spoon and some friends because the newest ice cream shop in the East Valley has a boat full of desserts.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this morning, I have to give a big shout out to the students and the teachers at Sequoia Elementary in Scottsdale. The fourth graders had me out there yesterday. You can see from the video, we talked about being a meteorologist on TV, and you saw there, I had them hold their own microphone and get up and talk about the weather and present it themselves and do some practicing. So thank you to all the volunteers, and we even had a weather balloon to talk about as well. So much fun talking about the weather, and can't thank the teachers enough for all of their hard work in teaching their students the science, the weather. A lot of them knew so much already. Thank you so much for having me out there yesterday. It was a fun time, that's for sure. Hey, let's talk about that most accurate forecast here as you're getting ready to head out the door. Maybe you're getting ready to wake up the kids so you can take them off to school. Temperatures are very comfortable this morning, so I think that walk to school or the walk to the bus stop is going to be a pleasant one. 69 degrees right now in Phoenix at Sky Harbor. Now today, We're going to start off with comfortable temperatures again, but it is going to be a warmer day. And just as the kids are getting out of school, we're going to inch up into those mid-90s, approaching our high temperature. We'll likely see a high of 95 degrees around 4 o'clock here this afternoon. So today it is going to be a quicker warm-up. Sunny skies, sunblock, don't forget that, as our burn time is just at about 30 minutes today. We're also under a UV alert. Unusually intense UV radiation expected today. So sunblock, skin protection, obviously a very good idea today because of that. Temperatures will reach the 90s by as early as 1 o'clock. Then we top out at 95 degrees by the middle of the afternoon. Every afternoon in the mid-90s through the weekend, then getting toasty and close to 100 by Monday with milder mornings too. We'll talk more about that hour-by-hour weekend forecast as you start making those plans in just a little bit.
625, a floating device meant for cleaning up the ocean is finally getting the job done. A nonprofit based in the Netherlands has been working on different prototypes for some time now. They say they finally have a version that works. Right now it's in the Pacific Ocean, picking up debris of all different sizes, and the nonprofit says fish and other ocean life can easily swim beneath it.
That is fantastic. I remember when they tried it the first time. You know, it's also fantastic. Well, a new ice cream shop in Chandler is taking the sundae to a whole new level.
Yeah, Sunday Fun Day. The Screamery features a variety of flavors, and they pasteurize everything on site, which is pretty cool. This is the Farmhouse Sundae we're going to show you in a bit. It has 8 scoops of ice cream. There it is. Chocolate, caramel, and strawberry sauces, whipped cream, and don't forget the sprinkles.
And that's not all.
We have ice cream nachos, so you actually get to have some tortilla chips made out of waffle cones, hot fudge drizzled, and a scoop of ice cream on top of that. We have a flight of ice cream for those people who actually can't make up their mind about what flavor they want. They can get a flight of ice cream. We have awesome sundaes, and we really have that old-fashioned traditional banana split.
The Screamery also has a Paradise Valley location, and the owners tell us that they're hoping to expand to Gilbert as well.